all our friends, and they can have my things when we're dead. But we gonna live forever. We gonna live forever.
Welcome to the Boyscast. Boys.
Accidentally for boys.
Back from Dallas, which was a nightmare. What was people doing?
Loving accidentally for boys.
Yeah. Well, the first segment is accidentally three boys, but before... Just want to apologize to the Dallas situation. Basically, the venue canceled a day before. We scrambled, found one venue to do one show, which was packed, but then... I was just getting like 20 DMs a day being like, hey, I'm at the venue. We tried to get the word out.
I can't believe that the fucking venue was not emailing people.
They did. They emailed everyone, but some people didn't have their email attached or whatever. And basically the gist was the guy hired his brother-in-law to come do the plumbing. No, I don't know. I don't know what happened. But
I mean, if anybody's to blame, it's the fire department. It's
the city, yeah.
It's the Dallas Fire Department for saying, look, if there's a fire during this comedy show, which there most certainly would be, just because you're fucking, you know.
It's so fire.
Well,
and Dallas.
And then they were like, everybody will die.
Well, the fire department showed up and they were more concerned with getting their calendars out there than they were with my show.
I got my calendar autographed by them, though.
It was yeah.
Mr. October.
Nah. So anyways, me and Danny stayed out there and went to the fair, which fucking stunk.
Yeah, the Texas State Fair, which was really
Texas State Fair had a lot, but I'll say this: we went to Dueling Pianos, which was okay.
Dueling Pianos was fun,
and we went to the State Fair, which was garbage. Basically, the state. I don't like activities, period, that much, but like this one, everywhere you looked, there was a lot of weekend dads on their last straw. The one guy, it was like a meme. The guy was standing there, and his daughter was just kicking him in the leg, and he was just standing there taking it. And then at one point, he just sighed and put his hands in his head, because this guy did not want to be at this fucking fair.
Broken down, man.
Broken down, and they were scam artists at the fair too, because the biggest thing was they go, okay, so you'd only buy things with tickets. Okay, and then I go, what about the games? They're like, yeah, tickets as well. So I bought pretty abundant supply of tickets because I was going to hit the games. Then you go over to the games. They go, oh, yeah, it's a different ticket for the game.
And you can't get rid of the thing is there's no like, returning the tickets. It's a real fucking racket. Too.
Everything was a racket. The other thing that was...
But returning the tickets, and then people were trying to sell their tickets desperately because it was like, the fair was ending for the year.
Yeah.
So they're trying to unload their tickets. And like.
Then on top of that, the ride I went on, it goes, oh, it's like a high rise that takes you to the other side and back, and then it took me to literally the other side, which is a mile away. And then I get off, and then they go, get off, and I go, oh, yeah, I wanted to end where I started. And they go, no, it just goes to the other side of the fair. And then if you want, you can pay again to go back. It's everything's a scam with these people. I got to they closed beers at 10 p.m., bought a beer at 9:50, waited in line for the beer. And then the girl goes, oh, yeah, beers are shut up. I go, yeah, well, we paid for it 10 minutes ago. She goes, I just took the taps off. And I go, yeah, you're holding them in your hands. You can put them back on. She goes, once they're off, they're off.
Once they're off, they're off.
My
honestly, highlight of the fair was leaving with 0 tickets. I was able to spend exactly the tickets.
I was reluctantly going on crappy rides. Again, at the end, I just bought 2 bottles of Coke to just get rid of a few of them for $8 a piece. Yo, fairs fucking suck.
Yeah.
The only time I would say a fair is fun is if you're fucking tuned up. And then on top of that, you're not with like your girlfriend. You're a single guy that's on a date for the first time, and you're sort of putting on a whole thing.
Yeah, you should have shown winning the prize.
Yeah. You're there to put on a whole show for a girl and make her like you more.
Really big dog the carnies and stuff. All that stuff.
That's the only way, is if you go, yeah, obviously this fair sucks, but I'm here to... But when you're with your fucking, I'm with Danny, or a chick you've been dating for a while, you're just like, I don't know, yeah, I'm not here to impress anyone. No. I was trying to enjoy myself, which is not possible.
Funny thing that they had there too, which is like a very Texas thing, because like the only real fair I think I've ever been to is the CNE in Toronto, which is a similar vibe, way smaller. But you can rent the fucking Rascal scooters, which is so American, and then there's just like all these people who clearly don't need them.
That's the future of America. A lot of people rolling around in scooters that don't need a scooter.
Yeah, they don't need. They're just like literally. They go, oh, what's your medical condition? You go, I'm lazy.
Yeah. I have a couple extra bucks off the dole.
There's like gas in here, Ryan.
It does smell a little bit like gas in here.
Hold on.
And the only other positive is that Danny has a new crystal. So
I think I left it.
Danny basically went to, there's a guy that's selling crystals, and one of them was good for finance, and he haggled the guy down.
I didn't haggle shit. My girlfriend fucking went. She goes, he gave me these 2 fool's golds.
No, you were happy. Danny
He gave him these 2 fool's gold nuggets, which is like, I'm just like, because my girlfriend's also Jewish, and I'm like,
it's kind of like your joke.
It is. It's like
the kid's eating gold.
Yeah,
where you go, the lack of self-awareness. Danny, you cannot be in good faith as a Jewish man who does finance, walking around with crystals in your pocket that help you make more money.
Not to mention literal fool's gold. Like, that's what it is fool's gold. And I'm like, their fool's gold's not helping me make more money unless I can convince someone it's real gold and then sell it to them.
Also, yeah, we were sort of saying, I'd love the idea of a guy working at like a stand on the side of the road in Dallas being like, in this fucking crystal you put in your pocket and you get rich. It's like, well, you have 100 of them. Why are you selling rocks on the side of the road?
You know that fucking
the crystal's meant to make you rich.
You know that last yeah, exactly. You're like, if these work so well, then you have a fucking whole bucket of them. That Hulu show, like Last Man on Earth or whatever, if there was an alternate show where it's like last woman, there's no women left, and it's just like be dark times for the crystal salesman. What do we do with these things?
The crystal salesman's not doing good.
Not doing good in a womanless world. Crystal salesman.
Well, she was happy for herself. She came back and she was like, "Good news! You can buy me a new Versace purse."
Yeah,
and you go, "I don't know if that's in the budget." And you go, "I
will be soon." When Bitcoin hits $1 million,
the best is Danny and his girlfriend. She's actually pushing it. Danny goes, "I'm not putting that in your pocket." She goes, "Put it in your pocket."
Yeah, she goes, "Put it in your pocket."
She's actually arguing with
superstitious.
Danny.
I go, okay, and then I left it at the hotel.
I don't believe him. I think he put it somewhere else. He's got it in the mix somewhere.
I don't have it in the mix.
What about around your neck?
No. I had a gold chain once, remember? And then I lost it on our fucking animals shoot. I didn't lose it. Someone stole it.
You walking around with
that was actually worth money.
To make more money is so funny. I guarantee you, anyone who's bought that crystal is operating a net negative for the price of the crystal.
Yeah, well, that's the thing too. He gave it to her, so he's obviously like, I'm gonna give her this fucking bullshit thing, and hopefully, like, she'll buy some of these like chick crystals that you put in your pussy to make them smell good or whatever. That's stuff women do. I don't know what they do with these crystals, but for their chakras or whatever the fuck. And then she just goes, "Thanks," and walks away. And he goes, It's lost.
Yeah, she gave you a Jew.
He literally goes, he goes, I thought I had a sale there.
Never caught an honest John. That's what you do when you're a guy that got a good deal on a prostitute and she thought she was going to take you for more. You go, "Never caught an honest John." But
fool's gold.
Probably the boys of the week was accidentally 3 boys. No, it's 3 boys.
3 boys, yeah.
So these were the fucking dudes of the millennium.
This is so funny.
So these 3 guys, basically what happened was this female writer award. What is he looking
Just
for?
making sure the gas
you might
isn't
saw his
still-
financial deals over
Just
there.
making sure the gas isn't still on.
Was it actually on?
Yeah. You went to close the window and you literally just turned the gas on.
There you go. Fuck.
This will be the only podcast where people are just watching us die slowly, where we go, "Oh, I'm tired. Are you tired?" And then we go, "I just gotta have a nap." And then we literally just die.
Well, that's because you didn't get the don't get burnt crystals.
Don't get gas crystals.
So female writer awarded prestigious literary prize turns out to be 3 men.
That's the classic fucking when you can't get in an R-rated movie and 3 boys go on each other's shoulders with the trench coat. You go, "Wait, are you fucking one woman?" And you go, "No, yes, we're one woman." And then
Yeah, they have the wig on the top.
The wig on the
top rung.
The top rung, and then they're just all on each other's shoulders sneaking in.
That's amazing. They came out to get their prize and they decided to do a reveal of who they actually were.
Yeah.
Because they've been writing as this woman because obviously like women sell scripts a little better right now.
There's a little more demand for them.
A little more demand for them. I like the idea of as soon as they announce, they go, and the winner of this award, prestigious feminism award. And then they come out and they go, Joe Smith. And then they come out, they go, you just hear,
Yeah.
Burr, 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 burr. And they come out doing the Ric Flair arms. They go, "I just want to say the dudes fucking rock."
Yeah, this one's for the boys. Fucking all just like crush beers on their head. Stone Cold style.
Yeah. They come out as they're walking on stage. They crush beers on their head. You were saying it's sort of like
give the stunner to the fucking like host or whatever. Stone Cold Stunner, the presenter.
they do the stunner to the runner-up girl.
I think the thing too is they straight up did the reveal. They go, and the winner is, and they said the name, and then the three of them like all look at each other and go, let's do this, and they all walk out.
Let's
And
fucking
everyone's like,
do this.
Like, who are these fucking goofs? What are you guys doing? There's a woman won this award,
Yeah.
people.
Fucking.
Not so fast.
I guess the feminism take, it does take 3 men to write as good as one woman.
Absolutely, it does. By the way, this is exactly what Jamie Foxx did. This is Jamie Foxx's big story. Is Jamie Foxx's name is not Jamie Foxx. It's like whatever, some name.
Right, yeah.
And then he couldn't get spots on an open mic at their like showcase at some comedy club, and so he goes, I'm going to change
Because women could get up.
because women were getting more off, and he just like could not get on. He's like, I'd call in every week, I couldn't get on. And then he goes, she's like, you know what, I'm going to change my name to like something where you think it might be a woman. And so he changed his name to Jamie Foxx, and he's like, instantly I'm getting spots.
So funny.
Yeah, so
They said, we didn't hide behind a woman. This is afterwards when they're getting asked about it, doing the press tour on the 3 boys. We didn't hide behind the name. Marcero said, I don't know if a female pseudo-name would have sold more than a male one. I don't have the faintest idea, but I doubt it. So he's saying that, we just decided to do it because we just wanted to pick a pseudo-name. We picked a girl. It's like, are you asking me whether a girl might sell better? I'm not sure. I mean, we did get a ton of press from all the feminist magazines. You know what? I personally doubt it. He's not sure if if the girl situation helped him at all.
Does that help? I mean, it definitely helped in the sense that they go like, hey, we want to pitch this manuscript. And they're like, yeah, we're not taking manuscripts from men right now. So,
well, I've been in these conversations.
Of course.
I've been in these conversations many, many times where, I was in the thing and we had a digital series that was doing really well, or we had a script that they were really interested in. They were kind of like, listen, I'm going to cut. We can all just cut the shit here. We're not making something with a white dude.
Yeah, exactly.
I don't know how different ways we could tell you this, but we have 2 spots for white guys, and they're filled with 80-year-olds who've been here for the history of time.
Yeah. My favorite thing too is when you call them out for that and they go like, whoa, whoa, whoa. They're like, that's not what's going on. Like publicly, they would never be like,
no, of course
not. And you're like, all right. Sure.
No, you have to pretend. But you
were
were
pretending.
Well, they cast writers' rooms, right? Like they do. They're, this thing never ends, right? So they started casting writers' rooms the same way they cast a set, where they're like, yeah, we need the certain amount of skin colors in a writing room. But what you really get, which is always the funniest part, because they're like, yeah, we need all different like diversity in the writing room. Is like, yeah, we need people of all different colors that went to like college at fucking Harvard for writing,
yes,
or whatever, right? Like we need like drama kids of all races. It's like you never find like it's never they go, we actually need more diversity, so we'll get like a black guy that was like the black comic that like went to prison.
Yeah. They go, yeah. No. Never that.
That never seems to be the kind of diversity they talk about.
No.
They never get like a fucking devout Muslim guy that thinks women should be in the kitchen.
Black Trump supporter.
No, that doesn't seem to be.
Or like the black comic who's like actually wears the fucking Confederate flag. He goes, but he kills. And you go,
but even, I don't even have to say, I'm not even going as far as to say that it's not always, political diversity or whatever. It's straight up is even the diversity they're talking about, where they're like different perspectives, not even just right or left. It's all people that kind of were into like improv or whatever. It's never when they get they
don't want some fucking cool dude coming in and being like, oh, you guys are improvs? You guys are fucking faggots.
No, and
like,
it's never like a guy that was on the football team. You know what I mean? It's just a bunch of the exact same person.
Literally Shane, guy on the football team.
Right, exactly.
Go,
it's never
no.
It's never the exact. It's never a different person that happens to have a different color of skin. It's the full package with the skin color, right?
Yeah.
Accidentally 3 boys. Well,
Accidentally 3 boys.
You were sort of saying, which is making me laugh, that it's like the Blacklist.
The Blacklist, yeah. Have you ever seen the movie Trumbo?
Yeah, I did.
It's a sick movie.
Great
If
movie.
you haven't seen it, I honestly, that was one of the movies where I go, that
Writes
was
all the scripts in the
amazing
bathtub.
movie. Yeah, in the bathtub. And he's like just cranking out bangers one after another. But it was like in the McCarthyism or whatever, and then they blacklisted all the communists. And then all the communist writers had to, like, they couldn't work in Hollywood. And they had to work under like pseudonyms and stuff. It's basically this.
How many girls, when they watched that movie Trumbo, where the guy wrote in the bathroom or in the bathtub, were just like, "You're telling me that I could do my work?" So, taking self-care to a new level. Where you go, wait a second. So having a bath is legitimately the path to
And then you see them 3 years later, they're the pruniest people you've ever seen in their lives with about one page written. You go, what have you been doing? And they go, just too much self-care, not enough writing.
Yeah. The girls watch that and they go, you're telling me the path to being a famous writer is more baths?
More bath bombs?
I just had like the bath supply store, Bed Bath & Beyond. You go, I'm just looking for some work supplies.
It'd be like the first scene too. They'd be like, just like fucking over it, just like can't figure it out. And they're like, interior bathtub. Like they're just, it just like starts all bathtub related. Interior bathroom,
Bathtub, day.
night, day.
It's sort of, this is one of those things that sort of dispels the question that everyone always talks about, lived experience. Because the truth is, I mean...
Well, I don't know. So the thing takes place in the 1830s or some shit.
Okay.
So it's like, yeah. But
well, I mean, that's a perfect example of if
But
you
some of the
couldn't-
characters are
if you
women.
can't write the like someone else's perspective. I mean, you gotta have knowledge. Like again, you can't be like, I'll write a Muslim family, but I don't know any.
Yeah, and I don't want to do any research on it. Like,
But I mean, if you're good at writing, I mean, the same reason some people are good at impressions, where you kind of see someone, you could like mimic the things they do, the way they move their hands, the way they think about, you know what I mean? It's the same reason. Like I can't do that, but I think I can do that with character, where I can sort of meet someone for like a short period of time, and if I know decently about like their background, in the sense that I don't need to, like let's say I somewhat understand their culture. Like we talk about improv guys, like I kind of understand how those people work.
Yeah,
enough.
absolutely.
You can definitely like write other people, obviously.
Also, the other,
that's what makes a good writer.
the other
right?
side of that coin is you go, okay, so like, the whole like, oh, white people can only write white. So then it's like, what? So every person who's not white, they're not allowed to write white people either?
No,
like,
it only
like
works.
they have to stay in
Yeah,
their
it's-
lane, and then
that-
you're like, every fucking book is just a monocult. Like, there's no
I
diversity
know.
in anything.
Well, they sort of say these things to get the desired outcome, and they don't really have to. The implications of it don't really have to uphold.
No,
You know what I mean?
Not for them. They go, oh no, we can. They're like, we've been living in a white supremacist country forever. Obviously, we can do it.
Right, exactly. I guess
Yeah.
that's what it is, right? So they said, but you know what the thing, and this goes back to the Robin DiAngelo thing, is people like that, a lot of the people that are sort of pushing this stuff, like let's say a white university professor, let's say white people in entertainment that are just surrounded by white people, they probably are like, well, we can't write those people properly. And you're kind of like, yeah, maybe you can't. Like Robin DiAngelo, she's like, we as white people can't understand black people. He's like, you probably actually don't.
Yeah, probably don't. Yeah, you probably
You know what I
don't.
mean?
It probably would come off as pretty racist if you did it. And
Yeah, it's like a super simp like incel being like, men can never get in the heads of women, and you're just like, I guess you're having trouble with it. I seem to be able to get in there pretty quickly and fucking play them like a fucking fit dunk.
crowbar away.
But so they said August Martinez, George Diaz, and Antonio. Marcia, these guys are probably pussy crushers too,
Oh,
with
in
names
Spain?
like that.
In Spain?
You don't have a name like Antonio Marsario without fucking laying pipe.
Pipe layer.
So they revealed their identity while receiving the 2021 Planeta Award and a check of $1 million. And apparently what they actually did was they came out and they said, just want to say that we're going to be spending all this money at the fucking Rippers tonight.
It'd be funny if they come and they get the check for $1 million. Go, pretty funny, huh? If you bitches got this, it'd only be 700,000. Just drop the mic and walk out.
He goes, prior to writing, the three guys published their novels and they worked under their real names. And then Mola was also described as a 40-something mother of three children who worked as a professor while writing crime thrillers in her spare time. The perfect.
You know what's the best about this too is that now, like, because obviously it's like a bit of an embarrassment, I think, or some people would be like, it's not okay. That part of like an editor's job is going to be like being a private detective. Like you have to do all this fucking work now.
Totally.
You can't just be like, but so what, they never met? Like the editor, like they just a manuscript.
They maybe talk to the agents.
Yeah, they go talk to the agents.
It's very possible, right? I've had deals where I wasn't like involved in it.
Yeah, you never met them. Yeah.
Yeah. But they went, it's fucking amazing. And they went full out, right? They go, so it's the story that everyone would love.
Do you think there was a Mrs. Doubtfire component?
I was actually...
Where they go, oh, they have to meet you. And he goes, oh, what? Are you serious? I go, yeah, they're not giving us the fucking go ahead until they meet you. I know this whole thing's done. You go, hello. Oh, sure. Yeah, literally, three of them are like, it's like honestly a comedy. Three of them, okay, which one of us is going? And they go, no, you look like the most women. They go, no, you look more like a woman. You're fucking going.
I love that
They have the whole
the
thing.
Doubtfire.
Yeah, Doubtfire. Hello.
I'm here for the manuscript. Why do you guys have English accents? I don't know.
Hello.
It's the Mr. Burns when they go, when they're trying to be, Homer's trying to be Mr. Burns, and he goes, "Hi, I'm here to pick up something. Name, please, Mr. Burns." And they go, "What's your first name, Mr. Burns?" And he goes, "I don't know." Hello.
Oh, hello.
So when were you born? I don't know.
I don't
What's your
know.
husband's name? That's when you when you get a green card for marriage, they go deep into all your stuff, right? They ask you like, when was the last fight you had? Where did you go on your first date? You got to come up with a pretty elaborate
for
backstory
sure.
when you're scamming that system.
Oh yeah, I had a cousin of mine who fucking did like it's a big thing where people do like you just pay someone 20 grand and they go live with them for like a year.
Okay.
From another country, and then they like basically like you just live in like actually and another person we know did that with a chick, and she like
Oh,
remember?
she
was married. Remember, she
I'm
was
not sure what
married-
you're saying. You're saying
It's a fake marriage. Well,
They
it's
did
a
that-
fake,
they
for a
paid-
fake one.
they got money for the fake
Yeah, the
marriage.
person pays you, and then like they show up unannounced. So you have to live together. You can't like have your own places because they'll be like, where is he or she?
and then you get like 40. I do remember that.
Yeah,
I guess
and
you
the people-
shouldn't say who, but
No, I don't know. It's one. It's fucking way in the past, and two, it's like it's no way.
still a
not
big,
even.
Those are big fraud cases. But I
I
think they
don't know.
probably just deport you. Most importantly.
Yeah, I mean,
You're right, though. I remember that they got.
I mean, what
was it? 50 grand you get for the fake marriage?
It varies for people, but like it's a common. I mean, that's the whole thing. It's like it's people fucking are always trying to get around it by.
Well, if you're gonna do this, you want to go for a hard backstory that the women can enjoy. You go, I'm working a full-time job as a tenured professor. I have 9 children, and in my spare time, I'm cranking out 3 books a year.
Yeah,
and you go, also,
I have so many kids, I don't even have time to talk on the phone about it. So don't call me.
my dad was sexist.
My dad was sexist.
Yeah. So they did all the things. The thing is, you can probably do this with girls, but I don't think you could pull this off with race, because if this came out that like this was supposed,
that's a scandal.
I think it would be a scandal. Like for this one, they go, "What's wrong with that?" Because you can do women face, I guess.
And Europe's like a little more progressive with this stuff. Like they don't care, they don't quite care as much.
But if you did, yeah, exactly. If you did come out and you go, remember that like the person who wrote like Blackish was, some fucking frat boy, like I'm
Right.
a fucking Blackish writer, brother.
Yeah.
And then that guy, I think that would be like a huge scandal that you couldn't
I mean, that's
pull
why
off.
Sean King is just laying low.
Yeah, right, exactly. He would have been better if he just kept it behind the
Behind the paywall.
Okay. The other thing, and this one sort of, there's some inside scoop on, but Slate had this article. Adele lost weight, and I'm a little upset.
I'm a lot upset. I'm glad you just have the luxury of being a little upset, lady. 'Cause I'm a fucking lot upset.
Did you see that? And it was like another brother down in the fat army.
Ah, God.
Another one bites the dust.
Another one bites the dust.
Did that bother you that Adele lost a couple?
Yeah, as long as fucking Kevin James doesn't go super skinny.
He lost a few.
But he had a minute where he was toying.
was
with
trying
it.
to-
He was toying with being a skinny guy, and then you could tell he's like, "This life's just not for me."
There's a lot of them. Kevin James was toying with.
He was like
potentially-
for a moment, he was like going to be a skinny guy.
I could be a
and then-
leading man. Yeah.
Yeah. And then
Jonah
there's the
Hill-
UFC movie or whatever.
What was it?
Remember
Oh yeah.
this crappy UFC movie.
It's the worst movie I've ever
I
seen in
know.
my life.
I just know because you told.
Oh, I walked out of it after 25 minutes. It was so crappy.
I
So,
don't think I've ever walked out of a movie.
so what's that movie called? Do you remember? Thunder on Me or something? So Kevin James plays a UFC fighter, right? And this is maybe, I don't know the title of it, but Kevin
Wanna
James
look it up?
UFC. Sure. Kevin James plays a UFC fighter, right? And there's some plot line like he needs to be a UFC fighter to win money to get his family back. Like the stakes are high that he has to become a UFC fighter.
Here comes the boom.
Here comes the boom. Okay, so this all the stakes sort of get set in the first 10, 15 minutes or whatever, right? And then the first match, he does this underground match and it's outdoors and it starts raining. So then they spend about 15 minutes comically like slipping around the
Right.
ring, and it's physical comedy. It's a very Three Stooges Kramer situation where they're trying.
I mean, he looks good for him in this.
He was doing okay in that one, but I watched, we're 15, 20 minutes into the movie, and 7 of the minutes of his big UFC movie movie is. Can you imagine any other movie where it's like Rocky and the first thing is like them comically flop, and he tries to stand up, they flop and flip around, and I was just like, this is crazy. He's falling around the ring.
Rip any farts?
Yeah, probably.
Probably like he accidentally goes, he fucking does a splits and rips a fart.
It seemed like a South Park parody of like a fucking when they were killing Rob Schneider. It was so crazy. I go, I cannot do this. So I had to leave. Here comes the boom. It was too much. But he was toying around with the idea. Jonah Hill came out recently, and because people always are talking about his weight loss, because there is a component about all this stuff where if you're a celebrity, so unfortunately, if you're a rich, like famous celebrity who you put your image out there for a living, it's like, people are going to talk about you putting on 100 pounds and then losing 100 pounds like a year later. It's like,
I mean, remember that was
unfortunately that is a topic.
That was the Oprah thing forever. Was like because her weight was
up and down. Yeah,
she was all, and I mean they always did like the. I don't know if you remember the fucking SNL had like a fake. I can't even remember. But they had some fake game show thing, and it was like all these hacky comics, and then it was they were all like, "What's the deal with Oprah?" It's like she's fat, she's thin, she's fat, she's thin. It's like, what's the deal with that one?
Yeah, what's up with that?
Yeah,
that's what I always say to my chick when she has the stories that don't go anywhere. I go, and that's today's corner of what's up with that?
What's up with it?
There's never any point. It's like something. I was walking around and then this guy he was looking at the thing for so long. I go, yeah. He goes, what's up with that? What's up with that? There's nothing more to the story. It's just what's up with that
guy. That guy.
I was saying this to advice for girls that most girls, and this goes for all comics, but a lot of times girls in real life, most people that they're actually funny that are doing comedy, it's not connecting, or people in real life that are funny, and when they meet new people don't think they're funny. It's because no one knows what the fuck you're talking about. Mm-hmm. It's all boils down to they can't premise their things. Where you just go 5 minutes and you go, what are you talking about?
What do you do here?
What do you do here? But so the reason we have inside scoop on this is Dan Lamarte. You know Dan Lamarte?
Yeah.
He's a comic. He's a super cool guy, right? And he lost 100 pounds running. So
Forrest Gump style.
He was like a super big comic, and he lost 100 pounds. And then he's posted a lot about that online and kind of made a big like social media thing about it. Mm-hmm. And then he talks about it on stage and stuff like that. And then he like retweeted that article saying like something about it or whatever. And then she retweeted back. And then it became
Adele?
No. The person who wrote this article.
Oh.
So like our buddy has been having this big fight with her back and forth online. The woman who wrote the article being like, him being like, this is crazy or whatever. And her being like, this is something that I've struggled with. Like, me being upset about Adele and blah, blah. And then, we shouldn't be blah, 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 talking about people's weights. And he was like, no, the fact that I lost 100 pounds and I was like very, very fat and unhealthy and now I'm in good shape is objectively good.
Yeah, of course. That's the thing. Like she literally says, she goes, I don't know if this is a good thing or not.
Right. I feel better. My life's better. And then
you're like, yeah, it's a good thing.
So he was kind of arguing with this chick that wrote the thing.
Oh, I didn't know that. That's funny.
But Jonah Hill actually posted, he was like, you need to stop talking about my weight. Like it doesn't help or whatever. And it was just like, shut the fuck up.
Or just don't look at your comments.
I get a girl being like, whether or not it's going to stop, it is just is what it is if you're going to put your likeness out there for everyone to fucking chomp over. Mm-hmm. But if you're a guy, it's kind of like, dude.
Yeah, like whatever. You're Jonah Hill.
Yeah,
you're not getting a lot of sympathy.
Well, I sat beside a big one on the plane last time, and it really was like had to squish in, like I couldn't get anywhere near the armrest. I was getting bumped. Although also it was making me laugh that Danny said, because I always spend about 3 or 4
on our plane back from Dallas.
Yeah,
because I had fucking.
Yeah, also had a big one.
Well, I didn't have a big one, but fucking. So my girl has a dog.
Oh my god! Yeah,
this is fucking hilarious. So the dog, we get on the plane. And the dog is like, all of a sudden, like we're sitting across from the aisle and the dog's like kind of being weird. And he's kind of like, he's a small dog, but he's like jumping around. And we're like, what's going on? And so then my girlfriend's like, oh, maybe he just wants to like,
bring a dog fucking stinks.
Well, having a dog, what are you supposed to do, right? But so anyway, so she's like, oh, she switches with, I guess that's what JJ does. But so she switches with the fucking person sitting beside me because we both had the aisles. And then but he's still being weird. And then at one point she's like, maybe he has to go to the bathroom. So then she takes him in. He has this little carrier. She takes him into the bathroom. And then the stewardess is like, what are you doing? She's like, I think my dog. And she's like, oh, okay. She has to go to the bathroom. And then the dog proceeds to just shit all over the fucking bathroom. In these tiny bathrooms. My girlfriend's in there. She's like, she was getting shit all over her. And like, it was
insane.
And then when I go back there to knock on the door, she like opens the door. She's like sweating and like wet.
She yelled, do not go in there, Jim Carrey style.
Do not. And then she had the water in her front pocket. And she goes,
what a fucking mess.
And I go, is there anything I can do? And she's like, no. And then she closed the door and I go, that sucks.
Ah, yeah, that'll suck.
That sucks.
Well, I was liking the idea that, because every time on every plane, I get told about 3 or 4 times to put my mask back on. That when the stewardess came up originally, Danny was like, hey, you guys should just get each other's names, because you're probably going to get pretty acquainted.
Yeah. She got you for the nose. It wasn't even full mask.
Yeah.
She goes, can you slide the above your nose? I go, oh, you guys are going to be friends by the end of this.
I generally get to know the stewardesses pretty well by the end of it.
Hey, Barb, why don't you get off my fucking back, okay?
It's my silent protest.
Yeah.
But also, I just don't like having it on. And then
I hate having it on.
If the people come up to you and tell you to take it off, if you put it back on, if you wait about 10 minutes to take it off, you usually get about good 50, 60 minutes.
For sure.
So I probably spend a 3-hour flight with only the mask on 20, 25
Well,
minutes.
I do that. I don't know if you obviously saw the thing. I'm sure lots of people saw it. I don't think we have it on the docket, but the thing on Australia with the coffee cup.
Where you're just constantly eating and you don't even have to go to
Well,
your way to do it.
they give you like the tiny bag of goldfish, and then I just have one goldfish left, and I'm just like that.
You just stand with it there.
I just sit with it. I go, and they come down. They go, "Can you put your?" I go,
I got called on that.
I have a goldfish. So
I got called on that. The lady came up to me and I had the fucking food and like a little bit of food left, and she came up 3 or 4 flights ago and she was like, "No, you're not. Like, put your mask on." I go, "I'm
Really?"
eating." She goes, "You're not. You've had that little bag for 20 minutes."
You know, I'm savoring it. And you like take a nibble of a goldfish. You're like,
She weren't liking it, yeah. So
I think you bugged them so much with all the mask stuff to begin with, because I never get any shit for that, and I always like I'll have my like once the food stuff comes around, I'm like I got my mask off for now.
they see you and they go, "This guy's having trouble breathing as is." They go, well, I sat beside a real big one and it was a pain in the ass. And we were looking up the average weight this weekend of girls, a fucking $180.
$180 in America.
Dude, that's so crazy that the average weight.
I mean,
of
when you factor
women-
in that the average height is 5'6" or whatever,
it's nuts.
185.6,
Which is crazy because you're like, can you? I guess these people are just off the market or something, because you go, if that's average, which means most people, like, just imagine being on a dating app or whatever. A girl's like, I'm 5'5", $180. You're like, that's a hell no.
Yeah.
So you go, so what?
But the average for guys is fucking
person-
5'9", 200 or something. So
200 is a lot too.
for a 5'9" person.
No,
so they
I
just
feel like
kinda
that's
match
not
up.
as bad though.
Well,
Like, I feel like the girl one's more nuts. A $180? Fucking. Dude, if you're a fucking girl getting
Ryan,
close to
it's
200,
mostly water weight, okay?
I'm a $180. I'm 6'3". Yeah, I don't know. As I'm getting fucking up there. I guess that's.
I mean, probably when you rent scooters just because you don't like walking, that kind of is a symptom.
that'll happen, right?
That'll happen.
But this also is like, so their whole thing is that she goes, Adele's been skinny for a while. But first in an Instagram post and then while hosting Saturday Night Live. And this week we got a skinny Adele in a music video ahead of the release of her album 30. And this like really put her in a tailspin.
I know. Really caused some binge eating.
She's like another one bites the dust is the kind of thing. You know, she goes, I guess fat people are just chopped liver then?
Yeah.
We're just out here and we're nothing to you, right?
Yeah.
But this sort of is with guys, it only works with girls where they like get fat and everyone applauds. Remember, think about like Axl Rose. Was there one article being like, he actually looks just as good?
Yeah. They go, God damn, Axel.
It's also a tale as old as time where celebrities get popular, especially in comedy, looking a certain way and then have to grapple with the fucking what to do. Because how many comedians develop a whole act about being a fat guy.
Absolutely. It's fucking...
They're opening line, hide your buffet.
They're literally comedians. You're like, man, you should lose some weight. And you're like, I can't.
I can't do comedy anymore.
I can't do comedy anymore. What am I going to do?
Well, even Kevin James, to be honest, I might have found his falling over a little funny if he had the heft on him still.
I think Farley even said that, where he goes like...
Farley, if he was skinny, you go, I'm not watching a skinny guy fall
we don't
around.
need 2 spades.
if you're skinny, it's not funny watching you do pratfalls.
No, hell no.
Right?
No.
Demi Lovato's also looking fucking big. We're just a gossip podcast now. Demi
Lovato's
put on a couple.
Demi Lovato's put on a couple of pounds.
And she said that referring to extraterrestrials as aliens. Because remember, I did a thing last week where I was like, you know what? That's a good job for Demi Lovato to be hunting around for aliens. Get her out of the political discourse. And then she said that calling extraterrestrials aliens is derogatory. And you're just like, you know what? You standing up for the rights of aliens. I don't know if I was right or wrong, or you're just like, yeah, this is good thing for Demi Lovato to be doing, paying attention to aliens and being like, aliens need more rights for when they come to Earth, and you go, yeah, you
get after it, Demi. You and fucking Tom DeLonge can go on.
You and Tommy D can get after that, right? She says, many media outlets and random internet commentators have celebrated Adele for becoming skinny. This has been met with a very specific form of backlash, which goes something like, Adele is a mega talent whose music is worth blasting on repeat no matter the singer's size. So please stop treating this as an accomplishment. And this backlash is correct. So basically they're saying when she loses weight, people praise that, which is
they should
bad.
Not.
But what people they always fail to realize is the reason, like, a lot of it started with them praising how big it's gotten. Like, these people who have they're going, why are you making your weight a big issue? And it's like, and your bio says like fat activist. Like,
absolutely.
So you go, you're the one making it like a huge deal.
Mm-hmm. Also, it's like people
and I guess tabloids for the beginning of time. So yeah,
fat cells. I guess, especially someone like, I forget who it is. One of the chicks from Baywatch, and they just snapped a photo of her, and she was like, super smoking hot on Baywatch, and then she's just like all fat now, and people are like, God damn, what happened? But it was like kind of mean. You're just like,
it does feel mean.
She's like, she hasn't been an actress for 20 years.
Yeah, but when they're old, especially, and it's the Betty White thing. Yeah, Monty's joke where they go, Betty White hasn't aged well, and she was 80. It was like, at some point you got to give her a break.
Yeah, this goes back to the people tying their identity to this one thing about them, though, too, like sexuality or whatever. We were like, people used to be like, something that would happen with Adele, and they'd be like inspired. They'd be like, oh, you know what? Adele can do it. I can do it too. I like Adele. And then now they're like, because they've just made their identity being fat, even though you're like, you have nothing else about you other than that they just straight up, they're like, they're being kind of like challenged now.
It's kind of like when Jose Canseco went white, and they're like, "This is a hit to the black community."
No, Sammy Sosa.
Sammy Sosa. Well, that's who it was. Sammy Sosa.
He
was a bad looking white too. He went pink.
He went really like.
It's just so weird living this life where you go, if someone loses 100 pounds, and this is what our friend was kind of arguing about. It's like, oh, you lose 100 pounds, and then it's like, oh, that shouldn't be good or bad, and it's like. It's so fucking.
Yeah.
Like,
it's not neutral. It's definitely not neutral.
But how do you not think that something that makes you die less is positive?
Probably all these chicks too now are like, they're all listening to Adele and they're crying, and you're like, yeah, I get really emotional listening. She says all the breakups. You go, breakups? No, she's skinny now.
Just a weird thing, like living in all these lies, where you live in a lie where you go, being 800 pounds and being 100 pounds. Or whatever the right amount of pounds,
the right amount of
is
pounds.
equally as like good and healthy.
Yeah, they're both good.
They're both good.
Equally.
And it was just like, okay, what do they even say to stats where you go, okay, but they died 20 years earlier, and they're like, well, that's because of the fat phobia.
Also during COVID,
is that what they say?
I guess. Also during COVID, where it's like that's been magnified even further. Where you're like, all the obese people were like, they're really dropping. I remember I told you, that 60 Minutes did that expose like maybe, I don't know, 6 months ago. And they're like, here's all the people who died of COVID. And they were like, it was 20 people in a row. And they wouldn't tell you because they would be interviewing their like partners or whatever. And they wouldn't tell you until like the end. And it was always someone who's like 400 pounds. And you go, I'm starting to see a trend here.
Yeah. It also intersects with the girl guy thing too, where it's like, you know, I get why you don't really want to like comment on a random girl's weight, but with a guy, it's like funny. Like in my group of friends, when someone puts on weight, that's the topic of the night.
Yeah.
Like when we show up and like Paul or Walter or something or like put on a fucking 30, 40 pounds, you go, that's all we're talking about. Like, you know, he walks in, we go fee, fi, fo, fum, like all that sort of shit. You know what I mean? You can't. It's like, dude, I put on, when I was doing, when I was editing Ryan Long's challenge, the only time I got real fucking up there, I was just editing at my computer, eating fucking pizza every day.
Yeah.
Just get, you know,
Yeah,
just getting turned into a tub of lard. And I put on probably 30 and I would get murdered.
Yeah.
You know, I would show up and everyone was like, you know, we need to widen the doors, whatever it is, right? But to be honest, for me, I was just like, okay, next time this has to end.
Yeah.
But with girls, I get it doesn't.
You think there's like a lot of like fat ladies who are Adele fans who have like their little Adele like voodoo dolls and they're just like feeding cake to it, just pushing cake in the mouth, hoping that'll do something?
Arnold Schwarzenegger used to say that he goes, when he was weight training, that's how he used to get in people's heads. Like so he was doing these big competitions and he would go to, let's say they were hanging out in the lobby or whatever. Or the bar
for like Mr. Olympia.
He had all these crazy things. He used to do, so he was, I guess bodybuilding's a mental game. I don't know bodybuilding enough to get it. You're just like, but you're in your head, so you flex worse. Like, I don't really see it.
Yeah.
But he goes, I guess it's like
It's like a confidence. Like if you don't have confidence, it's like it shows
so
on,
what? You're flexing
shows on
worse?
your face.
Yeah, something like that. But he used to say that he used to go up to the guys and he'd be like, grab their fat and be like, looking a little chubby. And
It's like, what, you been eating chocolate bars?
Get in their head. And he had all these other things too. He used to go tell them to do a shot with him the night before. And he'd be like, oh, what, you afraid to do a shot? Blah, blah, blah. And then he would take a fake shot. He had these like crazy techniques to beat people up. Oh, he takes bodybuilding very, very seriously, right?
He's the GOAT.
He goes, we're taking the teeth out of the word fat. And this is what she's talking about, the other part where it's like she uses the word fat.
I mean, if she took her teeth out, she'd fucking figure
But her thing, she goes, displaying fat is just normal or even in a beautiful way exists to be important. And so we're taking back the word. Basically, I was thinking about this. Basically, taking back the word worked for the N-word, and the other groups have been chasing that buzz ever since. It's never worked again.
Yeah, it's not working for anybody else.
Really, though, has it? Has any group...
Queer, maybe?
It doesn't work, though.
Yeah, but you know what? Queer,
put it this way,
queer
no
is
one-
a good one because then we still get to say queer, and then you're not getting in trouble for
All
it.
it does is that.
Yeah, you go queer.
Is that not what
And
you're
they go,
supposed to be?
Yeah. I thought that's what we were supposed to say.
And they go, so whenever whenever the bad body thoughts started rolling, I used to shout to myself, nope, Adele is another very talented person who's also big. So she would see that she's beautiful and fat, or it used to be, which was that. So was it the healthiest thing in the world to pin my self-esteem to the shape of another person's, kind of acknowledging what you said? Clearly not, because people change. This is the entire issue with external validation. It cannot be counted on. So it's sort of, you know what it really is? It's kind of like, you know, when a group of people are kind of like alcoholics and drug addicts, they never like it when the one gets clean. There's a lot of pushback.
Never.
We do that in the lazy people video where it's like, I'm going for a run. It's like, what, you're better than us?
That's just a known thing. It's like if you're trying to be not a drug addict, you're like, you can't surround yourselves with drug addicts.
There's always pushback to any self-improvement too.
Of course.
Even you know, how many people I've met, this seems like almost more of an American thing where they like left home to go to like a city to try to make a career for themselves, and their parents are kind of like, oh, you think you're some big city slicker that's better than us, like that kind of thing.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? No one likes anyone doing like getting anything that makes themselves better. You know what I mean?
It's a weird when
you're
it's the
crossing the picket
parents.
lines of the crew.
Yeah, it's weird when it's the parents versus like a jealous
Well, the
person,
parents
but-
don't put it that way. They kind of put it in a way that they think like, no, you need to stay here. Like, family's important. You know what I mean? They don't say that.
No,
but it's the
yeah,
pushback is always there to any self-improvement. No one's going to say outright, I don't like that you're going to go do better.
Yes.
The same way you're like in a relationship. It's like, you know, they want to watch TV and you're working on something. Like, no one likes it. They'll say you're not spending time with me. No one's going to say, I don't like that you're doing good.
Sure.
But it is all that, right? But they're trying to say that, you know, the other people crossing the picket lines to get healthy, they're just like, I thought we were fucking.
I thought we had a deal, Adele.
I thought we were a fucking tight, like a, what do you call it? I thought we were a fucking offensive line, defensive line maybe. I thought that we were a defensive line, and now I find out, oh, you don't want to be a polar anymore? A polar bear anymore? Is it too cold for you? But here is the problem. Most people who have excelled in the entertainment business are not fat and tend to be very skinny. So
What? You ever heard fucking Roseanne?
Well, that's
Mike
comedy.
And Molly,
it's only comedy.
Fat bastard.
But comedy is the only place where really people
that chick
excel.
on This Is Us. I know she's the first, but she's like 550
Well,
pounds.
now they're getting them in there.
Yeah.
But the truth is, like, and I don't.
Do you think she counts as, like, in Hollywood's mind, that chick on This Is Us who's giant counts as more than one? They go, that's 5. That's don't give us fucking guff for this shit. That's
There's
5.
Mike, Molly.
No, but the chick on This Is Us who's not a comedian.
I don't know. Watch that show.
Oh, okay. Anyways,
She looks crappy.
I don't watch it either. I just know that it has.
sounds like
The
Cliff
whole
Waldman.
thing is that it has this chick who's 500 pounds. Is one of
And
the
she's
stars.
like, and they don't really address it. She's just in the
Yeah,
mix.
she's dressed like I think she's eating in every scene. It's like
I can't remember
because it's like real. It's supposed
She's
to be,
eating in every
No, it's supposed to
scene.
be real, like a real person. So it's like she's a real person. She's 500 pounds, and she fucking like is constantly just like I don't know. I've never watched the show.
They
but
must have to replace the props. So
I just
often.
know This Is Us
They go, we're
fucking-
gonna need another chip bag.
Paul Thompson.
Oh, you're actually eating those? You're supposed to be fake eating them.
Paul Thompson, our buddy, for a while when he would host shows.
He likes This Is
he,
Us.
He'd bring people up as being like, this guy just guest starred on This Is Us this week.
Yeah, he loves
And like
doing
people would
that.
be like, what? Holy
He
shit.
loves doing the fake intros.
Fake intros, yeah.
But there is something to be said about most people. I mean, it's one of those things where they do studies on CEOs and stuff like that. Most people that are very successful are also like pretty in shape.
Yeah.
And that's one of those things where you go, that's just reality of the situation. But you can also say why. There is this other part where it's like, well, why is that? Momentum's a huge thing, right? Like when you have momentum, for example, like if you're doing well, you're making money, you do want to keep doing well. Whereas if you're in some dead end job and it's crappy, I get the idea. You have some wife that's whatever. You're like not, not how I get being like, yeah, well, what am I getting skinny for?
Yeah.
Okay, you leave a little longer, you feel a bit better. I don't know.
Yeah,
I like
I
eating fucking pie.
I hate
my life sucks. Yeah.
I hate my life. It's like, why do I want to make this longer?
So it's hard to get that original momentum started.
Mm-hmm.
But when someone does get the momentum started and lose 100 pounds, like fucking Dan, and and the person's like, actually, you should be fucking ashamed of yourself for betraying
Us. Well, again, it's like this
Betraying the
tribalism
clubs.
where they're like, that's your identity is a fat, like her identity is a fat person, whereas he was just like, yeah, I'm a comedian, maybe. I don't know. He's like, I just happen to be fat.
Which
and
it
then I'm
actually is harder for. If you're a normal person, there's only benefits. Comedian's one of the main jobs. Or if you're, let's say you're not specifically that hot, but you're making a career as a super fat model, like
Yeah.
like a
The
you know
Tessa,
what?
whatever.
No, the ones that are on like the joke Christmas cards.
Oh, yeah. The thing is, the girls who used to be on the joke Christmas cards as models are now real models.
Right.
Like, imagine you're like forever you were a joke Christmas card model, and now you're like, yeah, I'm actually like a supermodel.
Yeah, you're on Vogue now.
Like, you're in Vogue, and you're like, what was your experience before on the cover of Vogue?
I was
on
at Spencer's gift shop. I was at Spencer's on the joke calendars.
It's insane that that's actually the case.
Anyways, this girl's having a hard day.
Yeah, you were like fucking like on a ride in a hog fucking card, and were you pretending to be a motorcycle, but you're just a regular guy on top of you. Now you're on the cover of Vogue.
Yeah, that is. So yeah, moral of the story. I agree why it is different from girls, where you're just like, yeah, if a girl's fat, like it sucks,
Yeah.
and you don't want to fucking,
Yeah, for
be
sure.
an asshole to anyone. But
No,
the idea
like
that
comedy,
like, it's not worse. Come
There's
on.
definitely like improv troops where there's like the fat guy.
You need a
and then-
fat guy.
Yeah, and then if he got skinny all of a sudden, then we're like, so what is this?
But what are you doing? Well, you're the fat guy. in
Yeah,
the
you're the
group.
fat guy now. I guess one of us is gonna have to start eating. Thanks.
Or we get another fat guy and you're done.
Yeah, you get replaced.
Okay,
You're
gonna take a second here to talk about our sponsor, Ritual. What a vitamin!
I've been taking them. I'm liking
Yeah,
them. The
me and Danny
minty,
both taking them
I love the mint.
twice a day. They send it. Ritual's clean, vegan-friendly multivitamin is formulated with high-quality nutrients in bioavailable forms your body can actually use. So they send them to your house. What you won't find: sugar, GMOs, major allergens, synthetic filters, and artificial colorants. So This is a vitamin I've been taking. I'm a big proponent of taking vitamins. We're on the fucking road. We're eating smash and gross food.
Getting stuck on fucking airplanes for hours at a time full of just germs.
8 hours on an airplane, just living a friggin' diet of crackers and peanuts if we're lucky. If we're so lucky to get blessed with peanuts because they don't even serve you food anymore.
Dude, I've been traveling so much that I'm finally getting sick of those fucking Delta cookies. I've eaten so many of those stupid Delta cookies.
So I suggest whatever your life is, you can benefit from multivitamins. Rituals, the multivitamin reimagined. A multivitamin should contain nutrients and forms your body can actually use to help fill the gaps in your diet. No shady extras. Rituals delayed release capsule design delivers high quality nutrients, including vitamin D3 in just 2 daily pills. Get your nutrients without the BS. Rituals offering my listeners 10% off during your first 3 months. Visit ritual.com/boyscast to start your ritual today. Now, I'm going to show you this. So this was sent to me by someone, and this is because I think it's Australia.
It's Australia. I can tell by the accent.
So, because they get more and more out of control every day, right?
Yeah.
And I know we ended up talking about them so much because they're hilarious. So this is the kind of stuff that's going on in Australia. It's basically like the kind of the Gillette thing, where basically a guy, he's hanging out at a party and a guy comes up to him and he goes, "Look at these titties," right?
Yeah, but the funny thing is like these started straight up, like these commercials. The first ones were like a guy was like drugging and raping a woman. They started and people are like, "Yeah, I'm gonna drug and rape this woman."
Right, they were putting the pills in the drinks. And say something. And you're like, "Yeah, you should."
And they'd be like, "You didn't see anything or whatever." And then the guy's like, "Yeah, I didn't see anything." And you're like, "That's not okay."
High fives.
Yeah, high fives. Go, "Yeah, fuck yeah, I didn't see shit, dude. Go after it." And then now it's like, don't make fun of women for being worse at sports. That's not nice.
Okay, so I'm playing now.
Have a look at this. See? They're nowhere near the same standard as the men.
Showing women's sports.
I could watch them bounce around like that all day, though.
And then it says, next time, do something.
Okay, first off, imagine, like 2 scenarios. One scenario, because it's like at a party, right? So it's like, imagine you're at a party, a guy you don't know, okay? A guy you don't know, and you go, check it out, and he goes, "Dude, that's not okay." And you go, "Okay, never talk to this person ever again." Okay, you're like, "All right, fuck you, man. I don't know. Like, you're okay. I guess we can't talk. Our relationship is over before it started.
Right?
Like, you're never gonna be friends with that guy. You're never gonna be like, dude, you know what? You really showed me the light. Or it's your friend, and you're like, what are you talking about? Like, your friend goes, dude.
Or I'll even give them, and this is the thing that these fucking ads refuse to ever understand is like context. I will give you, if I show up to a party and I'm like with my chick and then like some guy you don't know comes over and he's like, "Dude, look at these fucking stupid bitches."
Yeah, totally.
You would be like, "Dude, I don't know you. I don't know you well enough." I've said that in the joke. The guy comes up, it's like, "Yeah, I'm cheating on my wife," and I was like, "Dude, I don't think you should be confiding in me."
Yeah, you're like at a party, a guy pulls out his phone, it's just hardcore porn. He goes, "Pretty hot, huh?" You go, "What?"
Well, yeah.
I don't
So
wanna watch
a
porn
stranger
right now.
confiding in you in anything is a little. You're just like, we don't. But if the drinks start flowing and you go, you can't make fun of women's sports.
First off, the first line, what does he say? Not as good as the men?
Yeah, he goes,
That's objectively true. I don't even like you're like, okay, yes. It's like if you want to point it out to be like, but that is objectively true.
yes.
Like I get that maybe you're not supposed to point it out. It's mean because we're supposed to treat them like they're Special Olympians or something. But it's like
you should do the opposite. You show them the thing and you go, pretty equal to men, right?
yeah, that's you go, this is equal, right? You go, you go, no, these are equal. And you go,
these ladies are killing it, huh?
yeah.
And then the guy's like, that one's pretty hot. You go, I don't look at women like that.
Yeah. Like it'd be one thing like if that was the guy who's watching Special Olympics and you go, not as good as the men.
And you don't know him?
Dude, and you don't know him, you're like, dude, that's fucked up. Like,
But if it's your buddy, you're kind of like, okay, you're being a fucking dick.
like whatever, edgelord. But if it's a Special Olympian, you'd be like, okay, that's fucked up. Like these are like, people who are like disabled.
These are my brothers, Danny would say.
Whatever, but they're like disabled people.
I lost my finals.
But
to
in
that
this
guy.
scenario, it's just professional athletes who are women. Like they're professional athletes.
Yeah.
Like you're watching them on TV. It's not like you didn't go to the fucking park and record them and be like, these chicks suck, huh? You're like, they're getting paid money to do this.
Well, but even if you go one step further, where now we're debating, where you go, okay, this is the logistics of, you're explaining like how to socialize works with these people and what, it all assumes that you're so stupid you need someone to tell you to understand how to like live by your own boundaries. Okay, now this is the most crazy part about these people. Now switch it around where you go, hey, it's at a party and the girls are looking at like firefighters and the one's like, oh, those guys are pretty hot, eh? And then should the other girl in that case being like, not fucking cool, dude.
Yeah.
They're trying to save the world right now.
Yeah,
they're out there doing our job. They do not need to be ogled by you.
No, we're the fat ones.
This
Where's like the fat old guy who's been at the firehouse for 40 years? Where's he in your fucking little thing?
That would be the same commercial would be like how empowered women are.
Sure.
Like,
but again, one of them is like, your scenario, you're talking about objectifying people's bodies. This is straight up, you're like, they're not as good as the men. You're like, yeah,
no,
they're
but
not
the second part where he goes, I can look at those bounce around.
Imagine he goes, what? And then it's just the balls. There's balls bouncing. But he goes, I can look at those bounce around.
Yeah.
The woman? No, the soccer ball, you fucking asshole.
I can look at the basketballs bounce around all day. Mesmerizing, just how good they're bouncing them around.
And then you cut out and you pan out and it's like he's actually talking to a dog. And he goes, I can look at those bounce around.
But this, like even in Juno, that was a whole scene where the girl was looking at the guys' dicks when they were on the track.
Yeah.
And then it was like, this was a fucking feminist hit that,
Yep.
with what's, I guess, his face.
Elliot Page?
Yeah.
I actually went to the fucking world premiere of that movie.
There you
at the
did.
Toronto International Film Festival.
World premiere. But yeah, and in any scenario that you go, they can't decide whether men should stop doing it or women should do more of it. That's what all their things are. They go, so are you saying that like just men should stop doing it and women should? Because the same publications are often being like, yeah, women can be fucking gross pigs as well.
Also, you could have framed this so much better, being like, don't sexually objectify women who are competing in sports, I guess.
In front of a stranger.
But don't lead with, they're not as good as the men, huh? And then you're like, I mean, yeah, they're not.
Commercial's so funny. It's kind of one of those things where when people are arguing,
I mean, they're great athletes. Don't want to take that away. They are fantastic athletes.
Yeah, and some talent, right? You might say.
Talented athletes.
On the volleyball team. But if you're saying that kind of like when people are arguing about taxes and this and that, this is such the good argument for, no, these people shouldn't have more of your money.
Yeah,
these organizations should be fucking shut down.
And the actors on that thing too, the guys who are the actors are fucking rolling their eyes being like,
oh my God.
Can you believe we're getting paid? Like, we know so many actors. They're like, can you fucking believe they're paying us for this dumb shit?
I don't know if any of our buddies have been involved with one of those.
I haven't seen them in Canada. Australia is really like way ahead of Canada and that stuff.
Not cool saying that girl's hot. And women's sports are actually better than men if you actually
But you're not doing anybody favors, because it goes back to the whole, like, I think we were talking about this, maybe not on the podcast, but like with the whole, like, or maybe we were on the podcast, but like the trans women, and then people were like, trans women are trans women, and then they're like, no, trans women are real women, like biological women, and you're like, well, that I don't believe, and then they're forcing you to believe a thing that you know to be untrue, and that's when you start being like, wait, what's going on here?
No, with the women, they're forcing you to believe that it's not fun to watch them bounce around all day.
Yeah, here you go.
I objectively enjoy watching these bounce around all day biologically.
First off, I've watched a lot of women's sports. I have never.
Why?
I don't know. Like, I don't know. I've been to the fucking U.S. Open for
tennis
for women. It's like, you're never like, oh man, this is. Like, you got to be a grade A perv to be like going to sports and to like ogling like.
Nah, volleyball.
Volleyball is the only one.
They're around in bikinis. You're saying you're
beach
better
volleyball
than that.
is the only one.
Yeah,
Mr. But again, you're like, you're at the beach already.
Oh, Bill O'Reilly over here is
I'm
better
just
than
being
that.
like, no, I'm not. I'm not saying I'm above being a perv. I'm just like, be a perv at the beach.
Right.
Like everybody else.
You're saying
throw on your glasses.
I get it at basketball and probably
pull out your camera and just fucking be a perv at the beach. Like
volleyball, that's half the thing. It's like, it's a bunch of hot people, period. And I'm saying that vice versa.
I know, I get it, but I'm like, I'm sure that's an element where they're like helping to sell their thing, but like, I don't know. It's like, if you're gonna be a perv, just be a perv. Why do you have to bring sports into it?
Because you're watching it. But
Okay.
you're right.
Well,
If
why
you-
are you watching it then? Why?
Why on earth is this
Why
guy
are
have
you
his,
watching
Why
it?
does this guy have his phone out looking at women's
You're like,
sports?
like, what is he gambling?
He just Googled it just to show you.
yeah, like, what is he gambling on it or something?
That
Like,
being
why are
said,
you watching it?
I will say you probably showed me a clip where you go like the type of the girl couldn't like tried to go up and dunk and couldn't or something
Yeah.
like that.
No,
like
my
girl's
favorite-
bloopers. You've never had fun looking at those
Yeah, my favorite bloopers clip is by far is like
when they score on the wrong
the
net.
2015 or something WNBA All-Star game. It's the All-Stars, the best of the best. They do the tip-off, and then it's like fucking Benny Hill. They grab the ball and then they go on the
It was like
wrong
Benny
basket, and they're like, and then everybody's like, nobody's sure which basket to be going on. It's the tip-off, like, and they don't know,
Right.
and then they go to and someone like blocks their own player, and they're like to not have them score on their own net, and you go, that's funny. If that happened in the NBA, that would be funny. But if that happened in the NBA, that'd be funny. That just doesn't.
Yeah.
But it's like when it happens in the WNBA, it's worse because everybody's already shitting on them, and then they're like not helping.
It's something you'd expect.
But you're like, if you're into women's sports, you're like nobody's into women's sports for the fucking. I mean, maybe some people are, but like again, like basketball, they're not hot.
No.
Like I'm trying to think what sports women are hot at other than volleyball. Where you go, they're all hot.
No, I'd say some tennis was always had like a little
Yeah,
bit of
tennis
hot
has a
flair
few,
in it.
but like not really. Track maybe a little. Tennis had like Anna Kournikova. They had fucking Jeannie Bouchard. Tennis doesn't have a lot of ones where they're like, oh, that's like a model kind of playing sports. Hockey, they're covered in equipment. I guess lingerie football, that was the one. That was the big one. Remember the lingerie football league?
Well, let's sort of
Imagine when they're watching lingerie and you go, I'd like to watch them bounce around. You go, excuse
Jesus
me?
Christ, dude.
Dude, fucking read the room.
This guy, you do need to read the room of who you talk to nowadays. It's you got to be careful with everyone, which is sort of the same. The next thing I want to talk about, because you probably know more about this than other people, but not other people, but I know that you were paying a lot of attention to this story. But
Yeah.
the UFC today, the Raiders coach, right?
What'd you say, UFC?
Or so no,
NFL.
USA Today.
Oh,
did
USA
the
Today.
article.
Yeah.
About
John Gruden.
Raiders coach resigning for homophobic, misogynist, racist emails.
Yes.
And so, if anyone, you explain kind of if anyone didn't. Just
okay,
give a
so basically
tiny
the
synopsis.
NFL, because they're like, trying to redo their image, starting with the whole concussion thing and how they were hiding that people were getting like CTE and literally like players were killing themselves. Like Junior Seau, like shot, they forever lied.
But they found something worse.
They found something way worse. Way worse. But they're trying to redo their image or whatever because they were the league where like Ray Rice punches his girlfriend in the face and like they suspend him for like a game. Like they were that league. And then anyway, so they were like, we're going to do a 10-year or I think it was 20 years. Every email that's been ever sent from an at NFL, anybody who's in the NFL, we're going to go through every.
That's fucking some scary shit.
Oh,
dude.
they're like, we're going through every email that's sent from a work address.
I know
And they're
you.
like,
There is a boomer component too, where it's like a lot of these people weren't email guys, and then 10 years ago. I mean, think about how long ago that is.
But some of these emails were from when it was still okay for a player to punch his wife in the face,
Yeah.
and not get kicked out of the league.
No, but also I think
So you're like, that should be some context where you go, yeah, he said this when you could punch your wife in the face, and like that was a 1-game suspension.
yeah, and gay marriage was illegal.
yeah, gay marriage was illegal. You
Like
could
the gay marriage thing, they're like, yeah, it was illegal at the time.
Yeah, like Obama and Hillary Clinton were against gay marriage. You could punch your wife in the face in the NFL. Like all this stuff was fine. They didn't acknowledge that there was a concussion CTE problem. That was from when these emails were sent. So anyways, they're like, we're going to go through all
You
this
got to be
email.
real careful with those corporate emails, man.
But there was no thought of being
no, but
corporate.
I think,
now for sure.
I think most people now know that that someone could eventually look through these emails.
Yeah,
Like
I
most jobs, you kind of know you got to keep that email. But I think especially at the beginning, it was a little more like,
there is a saying
we're just chatting.
where they
Like-
say never say anything in an email you wouldn't want in the New York Times. And now it's like actually real life where you go, yeah, your emails are now getting in the New York Times.
it is real life. And I've seen a lot of people, because you never want to, it's hard to
Let's just pray our
debate
our fucking group chats never get out. Imagine like that's the next iteration
You're
of this. It's
fucking
just
done.
personal group chats.
Hey, we're
getting
just
out.
going to do a bit of an audit on every comedian's group chat.
Yeah,
So
like-
I would just kill myself. It'd be like a child porn guy finding out that it'd be like a child porn guy when they find out that they're going to his house and going through his hard drives. He just kills himself.
He goes, all right, that was a good
That's
one.
it. They go, we're going to go through every last group chat you ever had. Just a small formality for this job that you just took. And you go, actually, you don't want the job. They go, we've already started. You go, oh, okay.
Yeah,
where's the nearest bridge?
We're going to be putting these public too, so hopefully it's nothing too bad.
Just a small formality if you're wanting this. That's such a funny thing to say to someone when you don't want them to have the job. Like you go, your company has to hire someone, but you really don't want to hire them. You go, yeah, just a small formality. If we need to starting now, if you want to hand me your phone, we're going to go through every group chat you've ever taken. Just a tiny formality. We're just doing a bit of due diligence.
Just do it.
I mean, you have nothing to hide. I'm sure what's be the issue unless you said something racist on your phone. But it really is that where, a lot of people, you end up debating what the original points. People are all, well, maybe you shouldn't have said this. I think you should. And you go, what percentage, honestly, of real world people do you think have something that they've said in like email, text, or anything like that where you go, I would feel if this went out, I'd be fired? 40?
Probably
60?
something like that. I'm honestly trying to think. I don't really get aggressive in email. I don't think I have anything. Like if you went through my Gmail right now, I don't think there'd be anything that I would be like.
Nothing where you go, oh, that guy's a fucking loser. Like
maybe
someone did something and you go, ugh, that guy stinks.
Maybe it's like something personal, but nothing like where I don't think I've ever done. I don't think I've ever done a racism
emails with us. Maybe I think if you go back 10 years, I think you'd be surprised. Yeah, maybe not a racism thing, but the things they said.
Well, there's the things
in the messages between two men. Gruden refers to Goodell as a clueless anti-football pussy.
Yeah,
you never said anything like that. Like that's so in passing.
The funniest thing too is again, you go. They go, he's misogynist. This was like, again, there was like
they clump it all together.
Lower on the list of bad things he did apparently or whatever, or not apparently, but like for it to be like, oh, this longtime football guy, the most macho sport on earth, is a misogynist because he called Roger Goodell a pussy, right? And you're like, again, he called him a pussy when you could punch your wife in the face.
Right.
And he goes, oh, it's like Ray Rice punched his wife in the face unconscious, and he goes, "This Roger Goodell guy's a bit of a pussy, huh?"
How did more people not get taken down in this?
Well, so here's what so basically what happened is so he was talking shit about Roger Goodell, who is the fucking
everyone hates Goodell.
He was the commissioner of the NFL, and a lot of people hate him, and then. A lot of people are saying Goodell was the one who leaked because these things leaked, right? It was an internal thing.
I forgot. So they didn't leak anyone else. Goodell,
you talk shit about the fucking king. He leaks this stuff, and then he leaked the racist thing where he said something about the guy's got huge lips or whatever. This guy who's like a part of the fucking NFL something or other. He goes, this guy's got the biggest lips or something or whatever. And then they were like, he said, look, I'm not racist, and I apologize. Anybody who knows me knows I'm not racist. And it was fine. They go, okay, he apologized. It was one thing. And then again, talking all this shit about Goodell. So then he releases more stuff a week later being like, because I guess maybe he thought the racism thing would get him kicked out of the NFL.
He thought that was going to be enough. So you're on the tip that this is a Goodell conspiracy for sure.
It sounds like it. I haven't done it, but it just logically.
Goodell seems like such a dweeb.
Oh, he's a total dweeb. But again, like I don't know. This can't be the only thing for anybody that came out.
Right.
You did
everyone has
650,000 emails, and you're like
tons of employees.
The only thing that came up was just John Gruden one time
called someone a pussy was on the top of the list of things that came out. Everyone else must be fucking
queer or whatever.
It's sort of put people in their place where it's put people back in line a little bit. Where everyone in the NFL's like, it's almost more about corruption than it is about any of this shit. Where it's kind of like, hey, just so you know. This is what the people do when they get the sex tapes or whatever, right?
Well,
it's like just so you know, you do anything. We have fucking 600 fucking
compromat. It's the fucking yeah. They got the stuff. They got some shit on you to end you. But anyways, I mean, again, it's hard to feel super bad for him. He has $100 million contract, which is still going to be honored.
I don't feel super bad for him as much as I mean, it sucks. But it's just my takeaway is not so much about this guy because it's like such a. This has happened so many times in the last little while. It's like people get fired right and left. It's more about just how fucking scary shit is.
It is. But also, here's the thing: is these emails were sent. He wasn't even.
This guy's on the blacklist now.
But he wasn't part of the NFL. He had been retired from not retired. He had been a coach to the NFL. He won a Super Bowl in 2002. He wasn't in the NFL. He was like a not a reporter. Like he was like a personality. He would go on shows or whatever. So he was talking shit about the commissioner when he was not an employee of the commissioner. Then he became an an employee of the commissioner after the fact. They did this thing, and then you're like, the commissioner's like, yeah, you talk shit about me, you're out. Like, so it's like, it's one
like
of
I
those,
didn't work for you at the time.
I didn't work for you at the time, and again with the whole like Ray Rice thing. But that's what I think is Goodell's just like, you know what, you're talking shit about me. I'll show you what power is. And then
I watched this soccer documentary about, it was like the Italian soccer league
that's
scandal.
the Juventus one,
and
right?
Yeah. So basically, even because they show two sides of the thing, where the one side is like, this is ultimate corruption, and the other guy is kind of like, no, this is what people did. You fucking that's part of the game. You call the fucking ref commissioner and you force him to give you the refs you want. This is part of the fucking system. But it really was, the refs would do the wrong thing, and they would be kind of like, you're fired, and they would set the examples, and the refs knew how they had to call it. The people would have give people yellow cards. They were playing the fucking Juventus the next day, and they would give the star players cards to kick them out for the next game. It was like totally corruption. So, but then it kind of, even flutters down to the social justice level, where everyone get to get outraged now. But really, this is more of a corruption situation. They just know that the thing that people care about to fucking get people fired, the same reason why Epstein gets people to fuck kids, because he knows that fucking kids or racism is the only thing that can make you lose your job. So they just know that now they have that's their main tool.
The only thing I'll say with Gruden is, I don't think, I don't know in the internal stuff, but like, it doesn't sound like Goodell was looking for a reason to fire him. He just saw these emails and he's like, this guy's talking shit about me. And he's like, well, I'll show him. But like, the NBA, remember the guy who fucking got arrested and went to jail, in the NBA ref, Donaghy, he was like basically fixing games in the NBA. He was a ref, and he was like owed all this money to the mob, and he was fixing games for the mob in the NBA. He did this podcast recently, this series, and he talks about how, like, the NBA would straight up be like, the NBA, all sports leagues, like, they're just entertainment. They're a business. Like, as much as you think they're these like sacred things, they're straight up just like businesses. That commissioner is the head of this business, and they would straight up be like, when Michael Jordan plays these stars, the refs are meant to like give these guys treatment, because you don't do better for the league by having these guys sitting on the bench.
Yeah.
Right? Like, you don't have as many highlights. Like, the game, everybody benefits when Michael Jordan is on the court fucking winning championships. Like, that's good for everybody. So, and they, they would make that known. Be like, you don't, like, if a star player is known to like, have some sort of trick, and then they start calling him on that as like a, foul or whatever, they'll be like, okay, we're not going to call this foul this year. Like, they do that every year. They go, we're not calling this as much. We're going to call this more, because it's still like, at the end of the day, just like, it's a ratings thing.
Yeah, it is very corrupt, all of them.
But yeah, the Gruden thing is weird. There's got to be a lot of people who are sweating, though, if that's
what I'm saying.
Yeah, there must be.
You really, if you're starting now, again, you can't even really go delete them, because they're in everyone else's inboxes.
Yeah, that's the thing. He couldn't delete them.
You cannot. You got any work email correspondence. I really do think you have to live by that, though, and you wouldn't want it in the New York Times, because it will be.
Yeah, agreed. But 10
it's probably
years ago,
too late for everyone, mostly.
It is, because nobody thought that.
Dude, you know how many people... I mean, I'll even get from family members where they send me like some funny thing making fun of something. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
From the work email, where you go, that's enough right there.
Yeah.
Like, whatever, right?
Yeah, for
the
sure.
equivalent of that. Someone sent you from their work email a meme of girls, puppies bouncing.
Yeah, like a GIF or whatever, just puppies bouncing. You go, oh.
Any internal audit.
Yeah.
Yeah, shit.
But again, I don't know. Yeah, I don't know. It sucks for fucking him, but...
Take a second here to talk about our sponsor, Keeps. And we got some friends who've been taking it. This is, now, I'll just say this. If you are starting to lose your hair and you're not going to get on something like this, they solved it. It's like it's there for you. They've solved certain problems that men had, and losing your hair is one of them. So if it just started, you started going bald, you're losing a bit, you're in the fucking late, 20s or 30s, you're losing it a bit. You want to get on this. Keeps more than 50 million men suffer from male patterns. So Keeps is a simple, stress-free way to keep your hair. Convenient virtual doctor consultations and medications delivered straight to your door every 3 months. So you don't have to leave your home. Comes in the case so no one knows what it is. Discreet. Low cost. Treatments start at $10 per month, and they offer the generic version. So this is one of the cheaper versions out there. So I recommend you get on Keeps. tons of good reviews from lots of people, and it takes some time to start working. So you want to get on this ASAP. If you're ready to take action or prevent hair loss, go to keeps.com/boyscast to receive your first month of treatment for free. That's keeps.com/boyscast to get your first month free. Keeps.com/boyscast. Now, this kind of relates to some degree back to when we're talking about everyone getting fired from everything. And, I guess even with the Chappelle stuff, it's like the sensitive thing. And, half the country's like, no, this stuff's good. And half the country's, this is bad. I just thought we have a good article, and some people have been posting this, but this is where it leads to. Male workers allowed in Baldwin, unsettling residents. So this is basically a college, and they have only girls and trans people are allowed in, right?
And the residents or whatever.
And then a male worker had to be in there, and then it's a term.
Well, it's because he was a cis male worker.
Cis male worker. It's term.
Absolutely bad. And the thing too is they're like, yeah, it's getting cold. We need to put radiators in. So it's not like they're just like, hey, we're here dicking around. They're like, look, you're gonna freeze, so we need to put radiators in.
So when you see people say that, people in college are too soft or whatever, and there's a legitimate breakdown and people are writing articles right and left because a guy had to be in the building.
Because a maintenance man had to come in to maintain the building.
And this person wrote a fucking article.
And they're literally like, why is it a man?
And this is in the paper, the school paper, Baldwin. They go, residents of Baldwin College received an email from Josh Matos, the area coordinator for multicultural and identity-based communities.
Sounds like a fucking fun.
It sounds like it's just identity-based too. I don't know why it's multicultural, because you just have to be a girl, but they're just like, but also we're like, it's good to be. I don't like.
Yeah.
What does it have to do with race?
They don't want it to be all white people.
Right, but I guess yeah. So you're allowed to not be white. That's what makes it multicultural.
Just more pats on the back.
Yeah. And so. There is also, this is when they added the more things. Did you hear what happened with the Boston Pride Parade?
No.
So this happened in Toronto as well, but the Pride Parade.
Or whatever?
Yeah. So that was a big component of it, but it's just kind of like how all these intersectional frameworks always have to break down. But basically in Toronto, they were sort of saying that they should be giving the money that they raise to different charities, and they can't have cops there, and just all sorts of different demands, right? Then they were like, there's too many white gays on the board. We need multicultural gays.
Multicultural gays.
No more, too many white queers, they said.
Yeah.
So eventually, this went on. It's going on in every parade, right? And this is basically Chappelle's special versus the bloggers happening in real life, right? And the spoiler alert: the race is winning over gays.
Yeah.
So basically, the Boston Pride Parade just decided the best thing to do, because they're like, our institution is riddled with like white supremacy from like the too many of the white gays that are in charge. So they just shut the parade down. They go, no more parade.
No more parade ever.
Win for the gays. Yeah, win for intersectionality. Yeah, well, I went through a bunch of different things, and they made so many people step down. They're basically just
and they're
going to start a new parade.
Dismantling it, and just the whole.
Well, basically, the gay pride parade is just going to be like a Black Lives Matter march.
That's good.
Yeah, it's pretty funny. So this is kind of the kind of stuff that's happening at this place, right? It started out as like, this is a girls only thing, and then now they're like, well, shouldn't it just be like how does that help our part, the other parts of the intersection?
It's basically their whole like residence thing is all like these. They have certain floors where they're like, no cis men allowed. Like that's the whole thing. It's just like everything but cis men.
I'm sure that fucking some of those ladies be sneaking dudes in though.
Yeah, they'd be sneaking.
Dude, when I was kicked out of residence, which at university, I got kicked out pretty quickly. And
didn't you live in your car?
I lived in my car for a while. So I snuck back into the residence, and I was at some chick's house or her room or wwhatever. And then a beat got around that someone, one of the front desk saw me because I was fairly notorious.
Or they heard you because you're the fucking loudest motherfucker on earth.
Yeah, but how would they know who I was? Like, you know what I mean? You'd have to be in the know that this is guy is a no allow in, right?
Yeah.
So anyways, I was in this girl's apartment or her res room, and then the police knocked at the door, and I hid in the closet. And then they go to the door there, go, hey, we have word that you have Ryan Long in the building. There's fucking police there. So basically they go, and then she goes, no, I haven't seen him. And then the police go, we know that he's in here and we're going to search around. So if you don't tell us right now, blah, blah, blah. And then she looked over to where I was standing in the closet and she was like, I don't know what to do. So I just came out and I go, all right, let's go. And then they bring me in the cop car.
What took you so long, boys?
It really was that.
Yeah.
And they bring me down to the station and they fucking did whatever they do. They print you. They give me a trespassing ticket for 160 and they're like, all right, well, you're even more banned now, I guess.
Not only you're banned, you're more banned.
Yeah. I don't know what they can really do. They just kept giving me trespassing tickets, kind of. So it was great.
And you're like, what happens if I don't pay this? And you're like, well, won't give you your diploma. And you go, it's fine.
Yeah, I'm here to crush this, dude. I do not give a shit about this diploma. Anyway, they fucking that kind of stuff kept happening to me. I was like, they would always just bring me down to the station and give me a trespassing ticket for being on the residence.
Yeah, you get in there. Hey Ryan, hey boys.
Hey boys. Hey, go. What was her name this time?
Yeah. Hey Ryan, let me smell your fingers. And you go, you know it. This is a real boys club. We're just doing our job. You're doing your job.
Yeah, it was getting to the point where it was a whole thing that I had to explain to girls. Like, you just meet a chick and it would be like, oh, well, we'll go back to your place now. I'm living in my car, but we may go back to your place. She goes, okay, we go back to my place. Okay, so one thing is that it's like basically you're harboring a fugitive. Yeah.
I gotta come in.
We have to go through a different door, and also if you get caught, you're gonna be in trouble. This is a high risk about. It's not. It was this harder time for me to. I was a harder sell than just. Guys are like, oh, had no luck picking up a girl tonight. You go. You don't even really want to know what I'm dealing with to pick up a girl. I have to convince.
Wait, were you banned from every residence?
Yeah. No, first I got banned from the South. Then I got banned from all the residences.
So I was gonna say there's lots of residences.
No, I was banned from all of them. I got banned from. It really was one of those things.
It's funny too because the South one was like a prison, so you're breaking into a prison.
Yeah, it was
like prison, the whole thing. Everybody goes, "This was designed by a guy who designed prisons."
Did you live in South?
No, I lived in Lenox Avenue.
But that residence was designed like a prison.
Yeah, that was like it really was this weird potty prison thing.
Yeah, I knew the design of it ins and outs because I was on the lamp.
Yeah, Ryan was like fucking car. He was in the duct system and shit. He goes, if you follow this to here, he goes, that'll spit you out in the fucking outside.
If I was trying to smash a girl, I had to crawl through the ducts. I actually did know what it was big when you got a girl on the first floor because you could go in the window. So no, I'd have inside men though. If I was trying to get on the second floor, I'd have an inside man that would let me in his fucking.
They would like do a
window.
distraction for the fucking guards. They'd do come in with their tray and just do like a big spill. Oh, and then they're helping you clean up. You sneak by them.
It was a 9-boy job to get me in there for some snooze.
It's like Ocean's 11.
Shit. Yeah. It was a weird little fucking run.
And you're just fucking going around Guelph with like a rappelling hook.
The worst was when I would do something like that, try to go to a girl's house, and then the cops would bring me in, and then basically go back to the res, and then I was sleeping in my car like on a weird parking lot of the res, and then sometimes the security guys would be like, Ryan, you're not allowed to be here either, and then I'd go park some weird parking lot and sleep in my car, and it was just really like this is insane life that I'm living right now.
Yeah.
We go, all right, back to the bar to try to find an off campus. Woo! Yeah, but so anyways, my point of the matter was I bet you some of these girls snuck some dudes in.
Yes. Non-binary dudes.
There you go. I'm reaching out. This is the email that they got that drew some concern. I'm reaching out to give you an update of the Radiator project Matos wrote. Starting tomorrow, Friday, 10/8, the contractors will be entering rooms between 10 a.m. and 8 p.m. to install radiators. So this is the start of the confusion. I don't know if you read this part, but there was allegedly, they also said in the email that it's mandatory that all the maintenance men will be honking titties on their way out. Standard procedure.
They're all doing cup checks. Just so you know, cup checks. Every maintenance man will be giving everybody on the floor a cup check, so be prepared for that.
We recommend you wear your cup.
Oh, fuck.
Cup checks, yeah. So I do get why they were sort of upset about it, because
Yeah,
the guys all, they said a team of 9 maintenance men are coming through and they're doing cup checks on everyone.
Oh, fuck.
That person said, I grew concerned reading the second line, which informed me that I had less than 24 hours to prepare for the arrival of the installation crew. And I was further perturbed by the ambiguous for a period of time, which is apparently, again, why they're mad, is because they knew if a couple guys were coming through, they wanted to get their hair did, find a nice outfit.
Gotta look good for the fucking maintenance guys. It's so funny how
They
little,
wanted to be look presentable.
how little life experience people like this have, where they go, yeah. They're like, why is this ambiguous time period? It's like, have you never had an appointment for anything? You're like, what do you mean? Like, they give you a range of times and they go,
because they're doing 45 of
yeah, and they go, we'll be there around like in this slot. It's
which
like,
does suck, but that's the nature of the game.
yeah, but it's like, if you ever had internet and anything, anytime you need a maintenance person, they're not like, oh, we'll be there at 10:10 on the nose. They're like, they give you a fucking window.
Landlord that I'm dealing with right now, they're fucking on their own. They'll give you a day of week that they can't even give you a day of week that they're coming. They go, we're coming sometime in November. And the guy shows up at fucking 1 a.m. to fix the door, and then he just dicks with it a bit. And I go, listen, it's $200. I've already spent more on a bunch of different things. Buy a new door.
Yeah.
Blah blah. And then the guy goes, I think we could fix this one. And then I have to call him the next day and be like, didn't work. So
Yeah.
So I'm to be honest.
You got some door problems.
Yeah, we got door problems. So they said, in general, I'm very adverse to people entering my personal space. The anxiety was compounded by the fact that the crew would be strangers, and they were more likely to be cisgendered men. So again,
Do you think this person's
a doubtfire
autistic?
maintenance.
Do you think this
people.
person's autistic? They don't like unwelcome visitors?
Well, yeah, but it is also just what. Yeah, they don't want unwanted visitors.
Yeah,
Exactly.
it's autistic.
But it is one of those things where this person that's going to college, you're just like, I don't know why you're bothering going to college, because you getting a job is almost going to be impossible.
Yeah. But this is one of those, Oberlin, I think, is one of those, like, super progressive, like, liberal arts college.
They should have, which they probably do. Someone should put together stats at like fucking Baldwin versus some other college that they're just normal of like employment. You go, yeah, it turns out that every one of these people who had to prepare for a month in order for someone to fix their radiator. Yeah, it turns out the employment rate like isn't actually that high.
Yeah, they don't do well in the real world workplace, unfortunately.
Yeah, so what do they want to do? You go, I guess you stay in academia forever or you don't, right?
Yeah.
You stay in academia and you start a board, you make a job for yourself where you go, you're the radiator.
Yeah, you got the radiator, the cis radiator person.
You're the radiator, schedule person to make sure this never happens again. Mm-hmm. So that's what happens. Like something bothers them and then they start a committee and then they get to be in charge of the committee. And that's how this stuff, compounds.
By the way, I'm absolutely disgusted that they could not find female radiator installers.
Well, that's the thing. They need more female radiator installers.
That's the real issue is like, where are they? I guess it's because it's more of like that could be like
they're at Baldwin College.
Well, that
at the residence that no men are allowed. They're in a radiator apprenticeship school.
But butch lesbians, I feel like that would be a good butch lesbian thing, but then I guess they're all working at coffee shops.
Yeah.
So there's no butch lesbians.
Do you think that at like a lesbian strip club, the girls are normal, or do they have lesbian strip clubs where the girls come out as butch lesbians and they have like the tool belt and all that sort of stuff, hard hat on, and instead of, you know what I mean? Instead of dressing up.
You just invented something. I don't think there's a butch lesbian.
They come out and they have a tool belt on.
Maybe the new like you know how like Playboy had strip
oil
clubs?
workers outfit.
Like Playboy had strip clubs
Yeah.
and stuff. Maybe at the Playboy club now it's like a
That's what it is.
Trans guy, trans woman, just a gay guy, a butch lesbian.
And also
Drinks are $400.
Drinks are
just really miserable experience.
Not a good experience. The next day, I waited apprehensively. The workers began installing in common spaces, and I could see immediately that they were all men. So this must have done. But you go, this is the other thing where this is such an easy problem to solve. Imagine having this be your daughter, and she's calling you, being like, so how's school? And be like, actually fucking terrible.
Literally in tears.
Yeah.
You know those installers, too, are like, hey, was everybody on your floor crying, too? Yeah, they all were crying.
But yeah, you don't.
By the way, these are the same type of people who would freely call people snowflakes.
Yeah.
They're calling everybody who disagrees with
like
them
calling people snowflakes now.
calling them back. And you're like, you were crying when someone installed the radiator.
They've definitely the fucking like justice people have definitely adopted calling everyone else snowflakes. Like Keith Olbermann, the thing we were watching.
I know.
Keith Olbermann comes out. He goes, "You people aren't going to get vaccinated. You know the reason why? Because you're afraid. You're afraid. You're afraid." And it's like Danny pointed this out. But you go, "This guy has 3 masks on. He's triple vaxxed on his balcony,
Overlooking
and
Central
you're
Park.
and you're afraid.
Yeah.
You're wearing fucking 3 masks inside of your fucking balcony on a skyrise, and you've been vaxxed 3 times. Like, and they're afraid.
Yeah, they're afraid.
It's like
Very afraid.
so crazy. These people. That Keith Olbermann guy. I was more just thinking like, people in the media are fucking losers.
Yeah, he's not even in the media. He kind of got
was
fired.
sort
He
of like a
was, and then he got
sports guy,
fired.
right?
Yeah, he was ESPN guy, and then he got fired. I can't remember what he got fired for.
Yeah,
but
I got fired for something. But I mean, he's like a in the media commentator.
Yeah,
or
yeah,
whatever.
yeah.
But that fucking, you know, that class of people that sort of is the bishops of all the opinion you're supposed to think.
Yeah.
They're just there to sort of support the old guard.
Oh, absolutely.
Which really is the old guard's policy now is like, we don't like the old guard, but really they are the old
Totally,
guard.
yeah.
Those guys are all such fucking dweebs.
Oh, big time. Oh, big time.
Yeah. But yeah, you go, just take the day off. If you go, listen, I have the biggest problem in the world. Your daughter's calling. And she goes, I have a problem bigger than anything. You go, what happened? Are you dropping out of school? Like, and you go, no, they're stalling my radiator and it's any time tomorrow. And you go, okay, well, maybe go to the library.
Yeah, go to the library
tomorrow. And she goes, I can't go to the library because it's not a safe space. There's going to be men in the library. And you go, okay, well, maybe go to one of your friends' rooms and be like, well, they might go there.
Yeah, they're
You're
going to
like, okay, well, if they come to
there.
install there, then maybe go there. And they go, I can't do that either. And you go, I guess die.
These people probably think they're like Anne Frank. They're like waiting in the fucking attic, being like, they're here. Shh, shh, they're here. Don't move.
Yeah. So they go, predicting when they'd reach my room was pure guesswork. So I must have stressed her out.
Yeah, it was for them too. They don't even know.
When the insistent knock, like, yeah, it's in a horror movie where
Yeah,
he's like, you hear
it's
him 2
literally a
doors
horror-
over.
Oh my God. I'm so scared.
He's coming. You hear someone else, maintenance man. You go, they're here. What happened? Are they going to kill us? They're going to be in our space. When the insistent knock eventually came, she does talk about it like it's horrible.
Yeah.
When the insistent knock eventually came, I scrambled to get my mask on. I don't like that she didn't have her mask on, even though she by herself.
Whoa.
And repeatedly shouted, coming through the door, repeatedly. I asked meekly if I could not have a radiator installed in my dorm.
Yeah, the guy's like, yeah, so freeze then. What do I care?
What the fuck does he care?
Yeah, he goes, yeah, sure. I'm still going to bill them for installing
Well, no,
it.
the guy, apparently the radiator said no because he goes, yeah, I know I was paid by the school to install a radio in your room, so we're going to have to do the radio. And she goes, but hey, worth a shot. And then she
Yeah.
goes on to say what a terrible experience it was. But they are like, this is the same person. You want to talk about, they're the same person that called the snowflakes. You know what? They really would be the same person to call someone a Karen. And you go,
They'll call everything, like, this is like, how is this person supposed to get through life in any way? You're like, because the thing is, okay, so say the guy goes, hey, I don't want you, can you just not install the thing? He goes, yeah, sure, whatever. And then it gets cold. And then this person is like, this school is freezing out all the trans and non-binary people on this floor.
how
And
are
you-
they doing it?
And you go, how are they doing it? He goes, well, because they won't give us radiators. And they're like, well, we tried to install a
Oh, yeah,
radiator.
100%.
They go, we tried to install a radiator. You wouldn't let us in because you were too scared.
Oh, you should have. Her big thing is they should have installed them in the summer. It was like, okay, yeah, they didn't.
They're like, there's
Sorry.
some administrator who has a list of shit to do, and they go, it's getting cold. They go, okay, we got to get the fucking radiator.
I'll tell you what, if I did a radiator thing and you go, this is always an inconvenience. You go, someone says, hey, someone's going to have to come all day tomorrow and install a radio. We can't. You go, that's annoying. You go, what am I going to do about it? I'll tell you what I'm not going to do about it. Write an article. Anyways, fucking.
She probably cried herself to sleep. Her therapist probably too was like, she was explaining this whole thing, and her therapist is like, has to pretend like,
Oh
she's
my
helping, and
God,
she goes,
yeah.
wow, you're fucking cooked.
Therapy must be so annoying to have one of these fucking people.
I mean, but really,
Honestly, it's actually probably good to get one of these people because you're just like, when that person walks in and they go, I might be quitting school because they're putting a radiator in my room. You go, you're just like cha-ching. You just pull out your Jew finance rock out of your pocket. The universe is working.
buying a boat.
Yeah, you look at it and you go, now your parents, do they have money? Yes, my stupid white dad is rich and blah, blah, blah. And you go, honey, I think we can do that vacation.
Yeah.
We're fucking buying a boat. Oh, shit.
That's so
Okay.
great. Yeah, I don't know.
This has been the Boyscast. Make sure to leave us a review on iTunes. Subscribe at patreon.com/theboyscast. This week, we got a bunch more stuff to talk about. So always a bonus episode every week. Sorry again to the people in Dallas. This is
Sorry.
We apologize. The worst comedy club owners in the world and the worst.
worst.
This is something we apologize for and appreciate everyone. It's been good
And
to see people
Canadian
on tour.
stories. We're not saying sorry. We're saying sorry.
Had a great time in Austin and talked to a lot of the dogs.
Yes. Awesome. Bye.
But we gonna